Welcome to Learn About Law. My name is Kevin O'Flaherty from O'Flaherty Law. Today we're going to talk about the Illinois DeadMans Act. The Illinois DeadMans Act is a statute that basically prevents people from testifying about their conversations with a deceased person if that conversation would tend to benefit them. The idea is to prevent fraud in probate litigation and guardianship litigation. So we're going to talk about the elements of the DeadMans Act. We're also going to talk about some exceptions to the DeadMans Act and how it works with the rules of it. So let's start with an example. Batman finally kicks the bucket. Joker wins, he knocks off Batman, and now they're probating the Wayne Manor and determining who's going to inherit that. Robin has been told all of his life that Batman really always secretly hated Nightwing and everything was going to be left to Robin. But the will actually leaves everything to Nightwing, who was the original Robin. In the probate case, Robin can't testify about his conversations with Batman saying, man, I hate Nightwing, I'm not going to leave him anything, I'm going to leave everything to you. So Robin's out of luck, Wayne Manor goes to Nightwing unless there's some other evidence showing that the will was a forgery or there was something else wrong with the will. So that's the way the DeadMans Act works. Let's talk about the specifics and the elements of the DeadMans Act. So in order for the DeadMans Act to bar Robin's testimony, three things had to have been true. One is the witness had to have a financial interest in the case or be an adverse party to the person raising the objection. So in this case, Robin has a financial interest. He wants to inherit Wayne Manor, and his testimony is going to help him do that. Second, the witness's testimony has to benefit the witness. Again, Robin's testimony is intended to help him get Wayne Manor instead of Nightwing getting Wayne Manor, so the DeadMans Act would apply so far. The third is the witness's testimony has to refer to a conversation with a deceased or legally disabled person or an event that took place, solely in the presence of the testifier, the witness and the deceased person. So in this case, Robin is testifying about his conversations with Batman where Batman said, I hate Nightwing, I'm leaving everything to you, Robin. So in this case, all three of those elements would apply. Robin has a financial interest in the case. Robin's testimony is meant to benefit Robin by making sure that Nightwing doesn't get Wayne Manor. And third, the testimony deals with conversations between Robin and Batman that there weren't other witnesses to. So Robin's testimony is barred by the DeadMans Act. So what are some exceptions to the Illinois DeadMans Act? First is that if no one objects to the testimony, the objection is waived. So Nightwing's got to be real sharp in this case. He's got to actually raise the objection when Robin tries to testify about his conversations with Batman. If the objection isn't raised, then the DeadMans Act doesn't apply. Second, if anyone else testifies, any other adverse parties to Robin testify regarding a conversation with a deceased or legally disabled individual, then that opens the door for Robin to bring all of his conversations with Batman into the case. So if Nightwing says, yeah, of course Batman meant to leave me Wayne Manor, he always said I was his favorite Robin and he was going to leave me everything, then Robin now has the door open to testify about his conversations with Batman. If one of the parties submits a deposition of the deceased person or disabled individual into evidence, other interested parties are allowed to testify regarding the subject matter of the deposition. So basically, in this case, if there had been a deposition about Batman where he talked about how much he loved Nightwing and hated Robin then, and Nightwing submits that deposition into evidence, then Robin can testify to rebut that evidence, or basically, again, the door is open the same way as if Nightwing had testified about it. The door is open for Robin to talk about anything related to that deposition. This next one is very specific, and it really deals with employers and employees. So if a claim or defense is based on a written record or other document, a witness can testify that the entries in the written record were made by the deceased person in the ordinary course of business if the deceased person was employed by the witness. So basically, if someone has an employee, an office manager or something that was making business records for them, the employer can testify that the deceased office manager's records were normal and made in the ordinary course of business. That's an exception to the DeadMans Act. Very specific. Doesn't apply in most cases. Finally, any facts relating to the deceased person's heirship. So if Robin wants to testify that Batman said, you know what, you're my biological son, or Robin, I've adopted you, then that conversation isn't barred by the DeadMans Act because it deals with who the deceased person's heirs are, not who the legatee is, the person that the deceased person is leaving the assets to. So that's really all you need to know about the Illinois DeadMans Act. Again, the idea is to prevent fraudulent testimony about conversations between the witness and the deceased person if that conversation would benefit the deceased person. But there are several objections, so you should be aware of those if this is an issue in your probate litigation or guardianship litigation. Thanks so much for listening.
Thanks so much for watching our video. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Click the subscribe button for new videos every week, and download and review us on iTunes. Visit learn-about-law.com for other legal-related articles and videos. Visit our business podcast and video blog, seizeyourbusiness.com, and visit Making Real Estate Fun for real estate videos and podcasts. Call us at 630-324-6666 for a free consultation.